Yeah, so like for example, drug design is one field that a lot of my former colleagues have gone into, and just trying to find like the next blockbuster drug for Alzheimer's or you name it, cancers, right? Like
So what is the? Yeah, I think for me, like I get a little confused with the term pharmaceutical, big pharma,
mhm.
drugs. Like it seems like there's this. It becomes very like opaque. Like I don't know if like I see drugs pushed during commercials all the time,
Right.
and at the same time too, I know that there's so many drugs for treating cancers and diseases and things like that. Where's kind of seems very gray as far as like ethics, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think the word drug gets a negative connotation,
Yeah.
right? When you think of drugs, you don't necessarily think about Tylenol or ibuprofen. You think about meth or cocaine or marijuana, and pharmaceuticals. You think of Tylenol and molnupiravir, which is the over the counter COVID drug, which I talk about in my class. But as you said, with the opaqueness to things, with oxycodone, that's a pharmaceutical, but it's abused, right?
So it's really like a lot of the gray area is like these drugs are effective,
they're effective.
but then if one abuses them, then it becomes a problem.
I'd say so. Yeah, like marijuana, like THC is. I mean, 20 years ago, people would call that a drug, but now people are starting to open their eyes to the fact that it can help with nausea, it can help with appetite, it can help with calming anxiety, which sounds like a pharmaceutical, even though it comes from a plant. Psilocybin, which is in mushrooms, like there's a lot of research now that talks about how it can be actually therapeutic for a lot of people, even though it's like marijuana and mushrooms and other things which are quote unquote abused and criminalized actually have a lot of worth to give to a
Yeah.
lot of people.
I've definitely noticed that recently is like this deeper conversation on the potential helpfulness of things like psilocybin, things
Mhm.
from mushrooms and psychedelics,
Yes.
I guess,
Mm-hmm.
to treat certain things.
One of the, I believe the Nobel Prize awarded, I believe it was 2018. I don't remember, but it was this woman called To Yu, who is a Chinese chemist, and she actually helped isolate a lot of the active organic compounds in traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay.
And that was sort of a meeting between what we call Western medicine and what's pejoratively called folk medicine or everything else. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that, there's a reason why these cultures have over time developed these medicines, these quote unquote folk medicines, because they work, right, for the most part. Um, and I think people are starting to look to inspiration toward the natural world, like psychedelics in mushrooms and marijuana and traditional Chinese medicine and other traditional medicines around the world. And we also see that kind of in popular culture with, oh, is this apple organic? Is this
Yeah.
non-GMO? And I think I credit that to a lot of growing distrust of science. So, for example, leaded gasoline and the chlorofluorocarbons, which have destroyed the ozone layer, and all these microplastics, which exist now everywhere. It's in rainwater, it's in our bodies. So I think there is a push against what humans have made in favor of things which are natural. And of course, there's nuance to that, right? The poison hemlock plant is natural. I wouldn't drink it, right? That's the plant that killed Socrates. Or Tylenol or aspirin. People take those every day, with very minimum side effects. So there is nuance to that. But I think, yeah, it's very interesting because you mentioned about the book Homo Deus and how STEM fields are going to help humanity advance into the next centuries, and yet there's a lot of people going back to tradition
Yeah.
and trying to thinking retroactively or retrospectively as well, which is a very interesting phenomenon.
Do you